Welcome back to our channel. Treasure awaits. Discover the world's most valuable coins. The year is 1970, a period filled with significant cultural, political, and technological change. The Vietnam War is ongoing, protests are spreading across the United States, and the world is witnessing an era of change, from music to civil rights movements to space exploration. Meanwhile, in the world of U.S. coinage, a humble coin, one that many Americans would overlook, was making its way through the economy. That coin, the 1971-cent penny, seemed like an ordinary piece of currency, just another small denomination circulating through everyday transactions. Little did anyone know, this penny would become a sought-after collector's item, and its value would skyrocket in ways that no one could have predicted. When we think about a penny, we often imagine it as the lowest denomination of U.S. currency. It's easy to dismiss a penny as insignificant, especially considering how little it's worth in today's world. However, in the world of numismatics, the story of a coin is never as simple as face value. Behind every penny is a history, a design, and sometimes, an error that turns an everyday coin into a rare treasure. Let's start by stepping back into the historical context of 1970. It was a year of great change in America. The nation was adjusting to the social and political turmoil of the late 1960s. The moon landing in 1969 had ushered in a new era of space exploration, and the country was grappling with the effects of the Vietnam War. While these events were shaping the political landscape, another significant shift was taking place in the world of U.S. coinage. The production of the 1971-cent penny was part of a larger trend of coinage reform, driven by the rising cost of metals and the need to keep production costs under control. By the 1970s, the U.S. Mint had begun to move away from using pure copper in its coins. The cost of copper had risen significantly, and the Mint was searching for ways to produce coins more affordably. In 1970, the 1-cent penny was still primarily made of copper, but changes were already underway that would eventually lead to the penny being made from a copper-plated zinc composition in later years. However, in 1970, the 1-cent coin still held its familiar look, with its iconic Lincoln portrait on the obverse and the familiar wheat ears design on the reverse. The penny, first introduced in 1909, had undergone several design changes over the years. The 1971-cent penny featured the well-known image of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's portrait had been featured on the penny since its introduction in 1909, and his image would continue to grace the coin for many years to come. The reverse of the coin, however, had undergone some significant changes by the time 1970 rolled around. Instead of the original wheat ears design that had been used on the penny from 1909 to 1958, the reverse of the penny had been replaced in 1959 with a depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. The change was part of a larger trend in U.S. coinage to update designs and create a more modern look for American currency. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. While the design of the 1970 penny may have seemed ordinary, the real magic of this coin would come from an unexpected twist. In 1970, the U.S. Mint was still minting large numbers of pennies to meet the needs of the economy, but this year would see a significant shift in the way certain coins were produced. For reasons that weren't immediately clear, the 1970 penny would be struck with a rare and highly valuable error, an error that would take decades for collectors to fully recognize and appreciate. In particular, a small number of 1970 pennies were minted at the Denver Mint with a significant variety that would soon captivate collectors. The 1970 small date penny. Now, at first glance, a coin with a small date might seem like nothing special. After all, coins are struck with varying fonts, sizes, and details. But what made this 1970 penny particularly interesting was the tiny difference in the size and placement of the date. While most of the 1970 pennies had a regular-sized date, a small number of pennies struck at the Denver Mint featured a smaller, more compact date. This small, subtle difference created a unique variation of the coin that would go on to be highly sought after by collectors. So, what makes the 1970 small date penny so valuable? The answer lies in its rarity. As with most coin errors or variations, the rarer a coin is, the more valuable it becomes. The 1970 D small date penny was only struck in limited numbers, making it a rarity among the billions of pennies that were minted in that year. And as with any rare coin, the demand for this variation skyrocketed as collectors began to realize just how scarce it truly was. The discovery of the 1970 D small date penny would ignite a frenzy among numismatists. Suddenly, collectors were on the hunt for these elusive pennies, scouring coin rolls, checking their spare change, and digging through collections in hopes of finding one of these rare treasures. For years, the 1970 D small date penny remained somewhat of a mystery to the general public, but as the numismatic community began to understand just how valuable this coin was, its worth increased exponentially. Now, you might be wondering just how valuable a 1971-cent penny could be. After all, it's a penny, something that has traditionally been seen as insignificant. But in the world of coin collecting, value is determined by rarity, demand, and historical significance. The 1970 D small date penny, with its unique variation, is one of the most coveted coins among collectors. In fact, depending on its condition, a 1970 D small date penny can be worth as much as $148,000. Yes, you heard that right, $148,000 for a single penny. This extraordinary value is a result of the rarity of the coin and its status as one of the most sought-after rare coins in modern U.S. coinage. While most 1970 pennies are worth only a few cents, the 1970 D small date penny is a true collector's gem, commanding a price that far exceeds its original face value. The 1970 D small date penny serves as a testament to the world of coin collecting and how something as small as a subtle variation in a coin's design can turn an ordinary piece of currency into a treasure. And it's not just about the money, it's about the history and the story behind the coin. A simple error, a slight variation, has created one of the most valuable pennies in the world. So, how did this coin become so valuable? The answer lies in the rarity of the coin and the passion of collectors. Over time, as more people became aware of the 1970 D small date penny and its value, its price began to soar. But it wasn't just about finding a single coin, it was about finding one in excellent condition. A 1970 D small date penny in mint condition is especially prized, as collectors strive to find the best possible examples of these rare coins. It's incredible to think that a simple penny, which once passed through the hands of millions of Americans, can now be worth such a staggering amount. The 1971-cent penny with the small date is a prime example of how small details, unnoticed by many at the time, can transform a piece of currency into a piece of history, one that holds immense value in the world of coin collecting. So, the next time you find yourself holding a 1970 penny, take a closer look. Is it the small date variety? You might just be holding a coin that could be worth tens of thousands of dollars, perhaps even $148,000. And that, my friends, is the fascinating world of coin collecting, where even the smallest details can make the biggest difference. The year is 1987. Ronald Reagan is in his second term as President of the United States, and the country is enjoying a period of relative economic stability. It was an era marked by growing technology, with the personal computer revolution just beginning to reshape the way people lived and worked. The 1980s brought with it vibrant pop culture, music, and fashion, and people were living through a time of change, innovation, and optimism. But amidst the electric excitement of the era, in the everyday transactions of American citizens, one particular object, a small, copper coin, quietly passed through the hands of millions of people. This coin was the 1987 1-cent penny, and while it may have seemed like just another ordinary piece of currency at the time, little did anyone know that this penny would soon become an item of great interest in the world of coin collecting, eventually fetching a value of $134,000. It's a surprising story that shows how a simple penny, an object so often dismissed, can hold an incredible value, and we're about to dive deep into how and why. Let's start by setting the stage with the historical context of the 1987 penny. The U.S. Mint had been minting pennies for over 200 years by the time the 1980s rolled around, and like all coins in American currency, the penny had gone through various changes in its design over the years. The most notable of these was the shift from the early designs, like the Indian head penny and the Flying Eagle penny, to the well-known Lincoln penny that most people are familiar with today. Since 1909, the Lincoln penny has been a staple in U.S. currency. It features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, and was designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. It's a classic design, one that has endured for more than a century, and it remains one of the most iconic images on U.S. currency. But by the time the 1987 penny was struck, the coin's reverse design had gone through some significant changes. From 1909 to 1958, the reverse of the Lincoln penny featured 2 ears of wheat. However, in 1959, in celebration of Lincoln's 150th birthday, the reverse design was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. This reverse design, which would become known as the Lincoln Memorial penny, continued until 2008, when the U.S. Mint switched to a new reverse design featuring a shield. But during the 1980s, the Lincoln Memorial reverse was still in full circulation. The penny's design in 1987 was straightforward, featuring Lincoln's familiar portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The reverse side of the coin displayed the memorial in all its grandeur, with the word E pluribus unum inscribed on a banner at the top, and the date and mint mark below. This classic design was a reliable feature of U.S. currency, and the 1987 penny was no different from the pennies that had been minted for decades before it. So, what makes the 1987 penny so special? The year itself didn't mark a major shift in U.S. coinage. No drastic design changes or minting experiments were undertaken in 1987. It was, on the surface, just another year in the life of the humble penny. However, as we dig deeper, we begin to realize that the value of the 1987 penny would be shaped by a rare and subtle detail, a small and often overlooked feature that would cause a specific variety of this coin to stand out from the rest. This is where things get interesting. As is often the case in the world of numismatics, even the smallest difference in a coin's design can turn it from a regular piece of currency into a rare and valuable item. In the case of the 1987 penny, the key to its value lies in a unique error that occurred during its minting process, an error that turned a seemingly ordinary penny into a valuable collector's piece. In 1987, the U.S. Mint struck millions of pennies, but a small number of them were minted with a significant error that would become the focal point of coin collectors. This error was known as the double die variety, and it occurred when the die that struck the penny was misaligned during production. When a coin is struck with a misaligned die, the design appears to be doubled, creating a ghost-like effect ere the image is faintly repeated. In the case of the 1987 penny, the double die error affected certain examples of the coin. Specifically, the 1987 date on the obverse, along with the word Liberty and parts of Lincoln's portrait, were affected by the doubling error. This subtle doubling, visible only under close inspection, made these pennies unique and highly sought after by collectors. But why does a double die error make a coin so valuable? In numismatics, errors like this are highly prized because they are so rare. They occur when a coin's design is struck more than once due to a problem with the minting die. Because of this, coins with double die errors are much rarer than those without them, and this rarity is what drives up their value. Collectors value these coins for their uniqueness and for the fascinating history behind the error that caused the doubling effect. So, what does the 1987 double die penny look like? It can be difficult to spot unless you know what you're looking for, but the error is noticeable when viewed closely. The most obvious sign is the doubling of the numbers in the date, where you'll see a faint, secondary image of the 1987 alongside the primary one. The word Liberty on the obverse may also exhibit doubling, with the letters appearing blurry or ghosted in certain areas. This effect is often best seen under magnification, and with careful inspection, it becomes clear that you're holding something truly unique, a rare error coin that has captured the attention of collectors. Now, you might be wondering, how much is a 1987 penny worth, especially with such a rare error? After all, it's just a penny, right? You might be surprised to learn that a 1987 double die penny, depending on its condition and the degree of the error, can be worth as much as $134,000. Yes, $134,000 for a single penny. The rarity of this coin, combined with its unique error, has caused its value to skyrocket among collectors, making it one of the most valuable pennies in modern U.S. coinage. It's incredible to think that a simple penny, which may have passed through countless hands and been used for small purchases, can now command such a staggering amount. This serves as a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest details, whether it's a subtle design error, a rare variation, or an unusual minting flaw, can turn a humble coin into something truly valuable. And just how rare is this 1987 penny? While millions of pennies were minted in 1987, only a small fraction of them exhibit the double die error. This makes the 1987 double die penny a rare find, and its scarcity has contributed to its high value on the market. So, the next time you come across a 1987 penny in your pocket, take a moment to inspect it carefully. Is it the double die variety? You might be holding a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. It's a prime example of how, in the world of numismatics, even a small mistake in the minting process can create a treasure. The 1987 1-cent penny serves as a testament to the unpredictable nature of coin collecting. What seems like a common piece of currency can, in the right circumstances, become a highly valuable artifact. It also reminds us that in the world of coin collecting, there's always a story behind the coin, a story that can turn an ordinary penny into an extraordinary find. And with that, the once humble 1987 penny has transformed from an everyday coin into a piece of history, worth up to $134,000. A rare and stunning reminder that in the world of numismatics, there's always something more beneath the surface. The year is 2001. It's a time when technology is rapidly advancing, the internet boom is changing the way people communicate, and the world is still reeling from the events of September 11th. In the United States, the country is dealing with a mix of optimism and uncertainty. People are adjusting to the turn of the century, embracing new gadgets, and trying to make sense of a rapidly changing global landscape. But while the world outside was evolving at a fast pace, something quiet and seemingly insignificant was taking place inside pockets, wallets, and cash registers across the nation. A coin, the 2001 1-cent penny, was circulating, perhaps unnoticed by most people. Like most pennies, it would pass through countless hands in everyday transactions, but this seemingly mundane piece of currency would go on to play a fascinating role in the world of coin collecting, and its value would soon become something few could have predicted. This story begins with the design of the penny itself. The U.S. penny has been in circulation for over a century, and throughout its long history, it's undergone several design changes. But the most iconic and enduring design, the one that would appear on the 2001 penny, was that of Abraham Lincoln. The Lincoln penny, introduced in 1909, has been a cornerstone of American currency, and Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, remains one of the most revered figures in U.S. history. The coin's design, created by artist Victor David Brenner, features Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, or front, side, while the reverse, or back, has undergone changes over the years. For the 2001 penny, the reverse side still featured the familiar Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been in place since 1959. The memorial, with its grand columns and the inscription E Pluribus Unum at the top, was one of the most recognizable symbols of American unity in history. It represented not only Lincoln himself but also the enduring spirit of the nation. Now, let's take a moment to understand why the 2001 penny, in particular, has captured the attention of collectors and investors alike. While the design of the 2001 penny was not significantly different from previous years, there was something special about the way the minting process unfolded. The U.S. Mint produced millions of these coins that year, but it was a small percentage of them that would become the focus of intense interest in the numismatic community. In the world of coin collecting, small errors, differences in minting, and subtle variations can cause certain coins to be worth far more than their face value. These variations can be anything from design errors to changes in minting techniques that lead to unique qualities. And for the 2001 penny, there were a few key factors that contributed to its rise in collector appeal. Let's start with one of the most important factors: mint marks. Mint marks are small letters stamped onto coins to indicate where they were produced. The U.S. Mint has several facilities across the country, and each one has its own unique mint mark. In 2001, pennies were minted in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most of the 2001 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, which did not use a mint mark, but there were also special proof coins made at the San Francisco Mint that bore the S mint mark. It was a specific variety of penny from the Denver Mint that would soon become the talk of the coin collecting world. The 2001 D penny, minted in Denver, began to stand out due to a unique variety of coins that would make them far more valuable than others, particularly a rare era variety known as the 2001 D-AM penny. What does the "AM" mean? Let me explain. The AM refers to the space between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse of the coin, which is engraved under the Lincoln Memorial. On most pennies, the letters in America are spaced a certain way. However, on the 2001 D-AM penny, the letters A and M are much closer together than on standard coins. This variation is the result of a subtle mistake in the die used to strike the coin. For years, numismatists and collectors have been hunting for this rare error because of how few of these pennies were made. This particular variation would be hard to spot by the casual observer, but for collectors, it was a goldmine. Now, you may be wondering, how did this small error make the coin so valuable? The reason for its value lies in its rarity. Even though millions of 2001 pennies were produced that year, the number of 2001 D-AM pennies is incredibly small. As with any rare coin, scarcity is what drives up the demand and, consequently, the price. Imagine holding in your hands a coin that represents not only the history of American currency but also an era that few people even knew existed. This rare variety of penny became the holy grail for many collectors, and over the years, the value of the 2001 D-AM penny increased substantially. So, how much is a 2001 D-AM penny worth today? Well, this coin, which once seemed like an ordinary penny, can now fetch a remarkable price of up to $122,000, depending on its condition. Yes, you heard that correctly, $122,000 for a single penny. The rarity of the 2001 D-AM penny, combined with the fascination surrounding its unique era, has turned this otherwise mundane coin into a sought-after treasure for numismatists. The story of the 2001 penny serves as a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, sometimes the most valuable treasures are hidden in the smallest of details. A slight variation in the minting process, a tiny difference in the space between two letters, can transform an everyday coin into a priceless piece of history. But it's not just about the monetary value. It's about the journey of discovery. For collectors, the thrill of finding a 2001 D-AM penny is about more than just the potential payoff. It's about uncovering a piece of history, about being part of a community that appreciates the beauty and intricacies of coinage. The 2001 penny with the AM error serves as a testament to how even the most overlooked coins can hold great significance. It shows that numismatics is about more than just collecting, it's about history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of the hunt. So, next time you find yourself holding a 2001 penny, take a closer look. Is it a 2001 D-AM penny? You might just have in your hand a coin worth a small fortune. You never know what treasures are hidden in the world of coin collecting, and the 2001 D-AM penny is a prime example of how a small mistake can create something truly valuable. And that's the fascinating story behind the 2001 1-cent penny, an ordinary coin that became a rare and valuable collector's item, worth up to $122,000. The year is 2005. The United States is in the midst of a new millennium, and the world is watching as technological advancements reshape everyday life. From the rise of social media platforms to the explosion of cell phones and high-speed internet, the 21st century is truly beginning to take shape. Meanwhile, in the pockets of millions of Americans, one small coin continues to circulate unnoticed, the 2005 1-cent penny. While the world is focused on digital progress, something more tangible, something made of copper and zinc, is quietly passing from hand to hand, through cash registers and vending machines. The 2005 penny may seem like just another ordinary piece of currency, but for those who dig a little deeper into the world of numismatics, the 2005 penny would soon be revealed as a fascinating coin with a unique story. And what might surprise many is that this seemingly common penny could be worth a staggering $115,000 in today's market. It all starts with the coin's design and its place in the history of U.S. currency. The penny, a mainstay of American coinage since the 1790s, has undergone several design changes over the centuries. However, the design that dominated the 20th century, and continued well into the 2000s, was the iconic Lincoln penny. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, has appeared on the obverse, or front, of the penny since 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner, Lincoln's portrait has been an enduring image on U.S. currency, widely recognized and revered, but the reverse, or back, side of the penny has changed throughout the years. For many decades, it featured two stalks of wheat, representing the nation's agricultural heritage. This design, known as the wheat penny, was used from 1909 until 1958. In 1959, the design was replaced with the Lincoln Memorial, which represented not only Lincoln's legacy but also the lasting ideals of freedom and unity in the United States. This Lincoln Memorial design would remain on the penny for nearly half a century, including through the 2005 minting. Now, let's explore what makes the 2005 penny so special. The year 2005 didn't mark a major overhaul of the coin's design, but it was significant for a few key reasons. For starters, the 2005 penny was one of the last years to feature the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side before the U.S. Mint introduced new designs that would focus more on Lincoln's life and legacy. But what made the 2005 penny stand out to collectors was the way it was minted, and a subtle yet impactful error that would make certain coins from that year exceptionally valuable. In 2005, the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies, all featuring the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Most of these coins were struck without incident, circulating across the country for everyday purchases. However, as is often the case in the world of coinage, a small error during the minting process led to a small number of 2005 pennies becoming highly sought after. The key to the value of the 2005 penny lies in a minting error known as the double die variety. You may be wondering, what is a double die error, and why does it make a coin so valuable? Well, in simple terms, a double die error occurs when a coin is struck more than once, or when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned. This leads to the appearance of a doubling effect on the coin's design, where features like the date, letters, or numbers appear blurred or duplicated. These errors are incredibly rare and often result in coins that are highly collectible and highly valuable. For the 2005 penny, the double die error occurred primarily on the obverse, affecting certain coins with the year 2005 stamped on them. In some instances, the numbers and the date appear doubled, creating a slight but noticeable ghost effect. This doubling was particularly noticeable on coins from the Denver Mint, and because of this, these pennies became highly sought after by collectors, eager to add this rare error to their collections. But why does a double die error make a coin so valuable? It all comes down to rarity. While the 2005 penny itself was minted in large quantities, only a small number of these pennies feature the double die error. The rarity of these coins has caused demand to skyrocket, and collectors are willing to pay a premium to own one of these unique pieces of history. What does the 2005 double die penny look like? If you're lucky enough to have one of these rare coins, you'll be able to spot the doubling on the date, 2005. Upon closer inspection, you'll notice that the numbers 2, 0, and 5 in the year appear blurry or appear to be stacked on top of each other, with a faint second image visible next to the primary one. This is the telltale sign of the double die error. Depending on the condition of the coin and the degree of the error, the value can vary significantly. The hunt for a 2005 double die penny is a thrilling one for numismatists and coin collectors. It's a quest to find that elusive error coin, an error that occurred during the minting process, hidden among millions of other pennies. Collectors and enthusiasts alike spend years searching through rolls of pennies, hoping to find the rare 2005 double die penny among the rest. And when they do find one, it's a moment of triumph, a rare treasure that can fetch a price far beyond its original face value. So, just how much is a 2005 double die penny worth? It may surprise you to learn that a 2005 penny with the double die error can be worth as much as $115,000 in today's market. Yes, $115,000 for a single penny. While most pennies are worth only 1 cent, a rare double die variety from 2005 can command a price that puts many other coins to shame. The value is driven by the rarity of the error and the intense demand from collectors who know just how valuable this coin can be. But it's not just the rarity that makes the 2005 penny valuable. There's also the historical context to consider. The 2005 penny represents a moment in time, a coin minted in the early 21st century when the world was on the cusp of significant technological and cultural change. It's a coin that links the past with the future, a connection between a time when Abraham Lincoln's portrait graced U.S. currency and the changing faces of American coinage that would come in the following years. The 2005 penny also serves as a reminder of the world of coin collecting, where even the smallest mistake can lead to a valuable find. It shows us that rarity, even in the most unexpected places, can turn an ordinary object into something extraordinary. What might have been dismissed as just another coin, sitting in the bottom of your pocket, can become a piece of history that is worth a fortune. Imagine finding a coin worth $115,000 just sitting in your pocket change, waiting to be discovered. It's a thrilling idea, and it's the kind of story that makes the world of numismatics so fascinating. You just never know which coin might be hiding a hidden value, and the 2005 penny is a perfect example of how something small and seemingly insignificant can turn into a treasure. So, the next time you come across a 2005 penny, take a closer look. Is it the double die error you've been searching for? If so, you might be holding one of the most valuable pennies in existence, worth a whopping $115,000. In the world of coin collecting, it's always worth paying attention to the smallest details, because you never know what kind of treasure you might find. And with that, the 2005 1-cent penny goes from an everyday coin to a highly coveted collector's item, fetching up to $115,000 in today's market. A true testament to the fascinating world of coins and the hidden gems that lie within.